Hi, how is everybody doing? It is episode number 284 of our button show. What does this button do? Hi, everyone. What's going on here? It's a smartphone. It's a educational show about smartphones and technology with us. We are the Geeks on Tour.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Jim, and nobody else can claim that. That's for sure. Okay. We don't want that on there.
No.
Okay.
So we are Geeks on Tour.
Yeah.
Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you?
I thought we weren't going to do that.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
We are thinking of a little transition here.
She tells me stuff and then she expects me to remember? I don't know. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your iPhone or your Android or any of these devices? And how do you learn about this technology?
Well, we are geeks, also known as propeller heads, but we are geeks who teach. And so we came up with this show to pick a topic or seven sometimes.
Or more, yeah. It's all that kind of stuff.
And do a live YouTube show. Every other Sunday we're now doing it. But in the interim Sundays, we still have something going on at 2 p.m. on our YouTube channel. We call it Fun with Photos, and it's about a 10-minute, whereas this show is 45 minutes to an hour, this live show.
Unless it goes a little longer. Who knows?
Oh,
Well, where are we now, Chris?
We are home this week. We did a live, an in-person presentation to our dive club. That was fun.
Yeah, we even have, I think Julie's in the audience.
Yes. Hi, Julie. She was there on Thursday night.
Live and in person.
Yes, live. Yeah, you can't just say live, you know.
And in person.
Because these people aren't
These
dead.
Are live.
They're live, but in person really is different. But this one we did both in person and on Zoom.
It was a hybrid meeting. I don't like those.
That's nerve-wracking. Yeah, I don't either.
I'm looking forward to seeing the recording, though. I hope it sounded better than the recording I made. So, Chris, where are we now? Well, we just said that.
Yep.
We're here. We're home.
We're
but
home.
next
And we're ready.
week we won't be.
Right.
Thank you to our premium members. You make our work possible. You can become a premium member at Geeks on Tour and support us. It's $68 for 1 year, $58 annually, and there are a lot of nice benefits going on with that. Okay.
Tell you more about that later. Yes, but next week.
Julie says, great show.
Thanks, Julie. Guess what we talked about?
Yeah, we talked about Google
Google Photos.
For a change.
Hey, scuba divers take pictures too. Yeah, lots of pictures.
And I take underwater photos. Maybe you know that.
With your smartphone.
That's
so
cool.
So that is cool, yeah. And speaking of diving, next week on Sunday we will be diving in Cuba. Gardens of the Queen, a very special trip. So there will be no show at all next Sunday.
And there will be no internet, apparently, down there where we will be. You're not allowed to have satellite internet, and there's no cellular data down there. They have cellular phones and things, but very
this will be a
data.
first. We travel a lot, but there's always some way to get connected.
Yeah.
Not next week. It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting. Okay. What do you got?
Thank you to our premium members.
I just said that.
Okay. I wanted to thank them too.
I think you should. One of the benefits of our premium membership is the Backstage Pass. It's for premium members only. It's an online meeting using Zoom right after this show. And Chris sent out an email earlier today to our premium members. If you can't find that email, you can go to our website, geeksontour.com, navigate to the member login page, and that picture will be up there. Click on that and you'll get there. You have to be logged in, but that's
Sunday, Sunday,
Sunday,
Sunday.
7 Tip Sunday. And we're going to be doing these apparently for a while because we've really accumulated a lot of tips on different subjects. Sometimes, we've been doing these hodgepodges for a while, but now we can have tips on, today we're going to do calendar. Of course, she's going to be doing some Google Photos, maybe.
No.
No?
No, this is
Not
just
today.
calendar today. Oh,
Today.
okay, right, yeah.
But other 7 Tip Sundays will have other things.
Over the years and with learning smartphones, I've just decided that people like to have tips, just short, contained tips rather than building block of learning. So that's how we're structuring this. 7 Tip Sunday today is all about Google Calendar.
Buona tarde.
Good afternoon.
Portuguese.
And I picked calendar because I swear in the last couple weeks I have met a number of people who do not use a calendar on their phone. Huh? How can you manage?
Well, that's the way they've always done it. And so they've just continued on with that, and it works for them. How's that?
Okay, but I think it's, and especially being semi-retired, people might say, well, I don't have a job anymore. I don't have business meetings that I need to keep track of. Well, when you're semi-retired, you have multiple oddball things that need to go on your calendar, and you're not so tuned in to remember them. So I think calendar is even more important in our years. So 7 tips today. Adding appointments using either the web on a computer or the app on your phone. Dealing with different time zones is especially important for travelers. Spouses sharing calendars. Getting multiple notifications of important appointments. Searching for existing appointments. Different calendars, public, group, special purposes, and various calendar views. And I don't expect to have time, but if we do, there's a bonus tip. Navigate to an appointment. So, adding appointments using the computer. On the computer, we're talking about just going to a web browser and calendar.google.com and sign in with your account, your Google account. Then you can either click the button that specifically says create an appointment, or you can click a place in the calendar where you want an appointment to be. In either case, you're presented with a form to fill out about the time and the name of the appointment and the location and all that stuff. So I want to do that for you, and I am going to use, my calendar is so full, it'll be hard to see. So I'm going to use our imaginary friend Alan and his calendar because it's pretty much blank. So first on the computer, I go to Alan's profile, and we can tell it's him because it's all purple. And I can just click on this 9-dot grid over here and find calendar. So here is Alan's calendar on the web. Notice he is showing holidays, and that's because he has a calendar called holidays. And he has one appointment scheduled, a dentist appointment, for 2:30.
Oh, that's the perfect dentist
That's
time.
dentist time.
My 2:30.
2:30. Okay. So, but he has a fantasy football team, and he's holding a party, and he needs to put that on his calendar. So that is for September 10. So I can just click on September 10 and add Alan's party for fantasy football. All right. Now, since I just clicked on a day, it's thinking that maybe this is an all-day event. No, I need to add a time. And the time is 7 p.m. So I just find 7 p.m. in the list. And I'm done. Save. That is now on his calendar. Next, on the 19th, we have a happy hour with Doug. And it is at happy hour time. We were saying 5:30.
As we get older, sometimes we pour at 4.
4:34, yeah. And then there can be a location. This is not one at Alan's house. So he adds the location. And since this is Google, it has all of the resources of Google Maps available. And I can say Brewfish. I just start typing Brewfish, and there it is right there. And save. And third, he's taking a little trip to St. Augustine. And I didn't show you. I like creating appointments just by clicking on the calendar. Saves you a little bit of time in specifying a date. If you click up here on create, then you have to choose event or task. We're not going to get into tasks today. And then you just have a complete blank and you have to decide what the dates are and stuff. So I much prefer to click on the day. And then watch this. I love multi-day appointments. So Alan is taking a trip to St. Augustine. It's going to start on the 20th and last till the 23rd. I can click with the mouse on the 20th and drag to the 23rd and just trip to St. Augustine and save. And notice how it is in there for all 4 days. So that's on the computer, how you create events. I call them appointments, items, calendar entries. Now let's go to the phone. And this one happens to be my Samsung Android, but it works just the same on an iPhone as long as you have the Google Calendar app. It's a free app. All of this is free, by the way. It's not even part of your storage allotment with Google. Google Calendar is 100% free. And I've never even noticed any ads on it. So it's just a service they do. It's tied into everything else Google, so I'm sure they still get a lot out of it. But Google Calendar, and I have this phone set to be looking at Alan's account. So first thing to notice, see those appointments that are already there? Here is the trip to St. Augustine. Here is the dentist appointment and the happy hour with Doug at Brewfish. And here is the party for fantasy football. So everything that I just entered on the computer is, boom, immediately available on your phone, as long as your phone has an internet connection, a data connection. Then it synchronizes. I love that because invariably when you need your calendar, you're not at home. You're out and about. So let's add a couple using the phone. And once again, you can just click the plus, but then you have to do a few more taps. I prefer, he has on the 24th, I'll tap on the 24th, he has a lawyer meeting. So this pops up where I can add title. Lawyer meeting. And that's it. He knows where his lawyer's office is, except there is one thing. He wants to remember to bring the contract. So under description, you can type whole paragraphs in here if you want. I'm just going to type bring contract and then save. And lastly, his friend Don in Phoenix is arranging a happy hour over Zoom. So he's going to be in Phoenix, and Alan is here in Florida, and there's going to be on the 27th a Zoom happy hour with Don. And Don says that's going to be at 5 o'clock my time, Don's time, Phoenix. So what do? You, first of all, it's not an all day. So you have to unselect all day in order to put in a time. Now I'm going to say 5 o'clock p.m. But that's if I go at 5 o'clock my time, it's going to be way too early for Don. Therefore, you set the time zone, and here is Arizona, because Arizona does not follow daylight savings, so it's different. And what I want you to notice is that on my calendar now, it says 8 o'clock. Perfect. You don't have to think about it. And more on time zones next. But so that is just adding calendar items, both using the computer and using the phone. So using the computer, it's create, or on the phone, it's tap on the calendar or click the plus.
Oh, look at this. Richard Clarkson, a super chat 20. Thank you for all your great shows, present, past, and future.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Okay.
So, speaking of scheduling in different time zone, here's a little bit more info on that. Video 697. Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour. Have you ever missed an appointment because you put it on your calendar and failed to properly account for the different time zone that this appointment was in? I'm going to show you using Google Calendar how to properly adjust for time zones. First, I want to show you what the problem is. So here I am in my Google Calendar, and I'm going to set an appointment for happy hour. And that means 5 o'clock, right? So I just click on Add Time and 5 o'clock and save. So I now have an appointment on my calendar for today at 5 o'clock for happy hour. But I'm going to show you what this looks like on my phone. So here's my phone, and I use Google Calendar on my phone. I open it up, and it says I have an appointment today for happy hour at 4 o'clock. So what's the problem here? Well, my phone is a smartphone, and it knows that I am in Texas, which is Central Time. My computer still thinks that I'm in Florida. So it set an appointment for 5 o'clock Eastern Time, which is 4 o'clock Central Time. Now, some people might make the mistake that they try to manually fix it. So on the phone, I can edit this and say, no, it's not 4 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock. Okay, and save it. But has that actually solved the problem? Let's go take a look at the computer again. And now the computer says 6 o'clock. So behind the scenes, Google Calendar is taking the time you tell it and automatically adjusting for the time zone. My calendar thinks I'm in Eastern Time Zone. So 5 o'clock in Central is 6 o'clock in Eastern. How do you tell your calendar what time zone you're in? In the settings of the calendar, you can specify the time zone. So I'll say, no, I have moved. Now, there are other ways to get your computer to prompt you to change your time zone, but this is how you specify it in the calendar itself. I am in Central Time Zone. Now, when I go back out, we see that it properly says 5 o'clock. Okay, so now what if we're going to be back home in Florida on the 30th and I want to set a 5 o'clock happy hour? I click on the 30th and I give it a title, add a time, and I want to set it for 5 o'clock, but it's important to tell it, since I'm talking about a time zone other than where I am, I want this to be 5 o'clock in the Eastern time zone. So you just click where it says time zone, change that to Eastern, and save. Now notice that this happy hour I just scheduled for the 30th says 4 p.m. That's because it's it's showing me the time for the time zone I am currently in, which is Central. But when I switch the calendar back to Eastern, and I can do that manually now in the settings, and time zone, and Eastern. So when we are back home in Florida, this appointment will appear properly at 5 p.m. So the lesson is, if you're scheduling an appointment that happens in a different time zone from where you are, make sure to put the time in that time zone and specify the time zone. Then Google Calendar handles everything else. Once you understand that, it really makes it so easy. You don't have to think. I used to try to calculate it, and invariably I would be wrong. I would say that, well, if it's 7 o'clock in California, that means it's 4 o'clock here. No. Anyway, Google Calendar will do it for you. Set the time in the local time zone, and then set the time zone. Okay. Next, sharing calendars. I need to know before I schedule an appointment for myself whether or not Jim has anything going on that day, and vice versa. And if I happen to take a call from his doctor and I want to schedule it, I need to have access to his calendar. Easy to do. Let me show you how. I'm going to do this just on the computer. And once again, I'm going to choose my imaginary friend, Alan, and his imaginary spouse, Alice, to show you this. So, back at Alan's calendar, now, one spouse has to invite the other to look at her calendar. So I'm going to go to Alice's first. I go to Alice. This is her calendar. And I click on the 3 dots. Over in the left-hand side, you see her calendars. I select Alice and click the 3 dots, and then Settings and Sharing. And then if you scroll down, you'll get to the place where you can share with specific people or groups. Add people. I'm going to add Alan, and send. So that's all Alice has to do. Oh, wait, there is one other thing. Over here, it says see all event details. No, if they're spouses, she wants him to be able to make changes to events too. So if they have a happy hour scheduled and it's changed time, and he should be able to change it for her. So make changes to events is the rights that Alice is giving to Alan. All right, back to Alan. And he should have an email. So, step 1 is send an invite. Step 2, the person invited needs to check their email. and say, yes, I want to add Alice's calendar to my calendar. And it's done. Add. Notice how the trip to St. Augustine is doubled now? That's because Alan had it on his calendar, and so did Alice. No biggie. And they are color-coded. All-day events are fully colored. Timed events just have a colored dot. And those colors come from the settings at the left, where under Alan you can change, so if he doesn't like that turquoise, he wants it to be a reddish purple. That has now changed the color for his. I just find that super valuable. We share with each other, plus we have another calendar for Geeks on Tour events. So at any time, we can see all of them, or we can just select. You can just click the little checkbox. If I don't want to see Alice's appointments, I just uncheck Alice and all her appointments go away. Or if I only want to see Alice's, check hers and uncheck mine, Alan's. Very, very easy. All right. So that is sharing calendars. And the next tip is calendar notifications. Just because it's on your calendar doesn't mean that you're going to remember it.
Oh, that's for sure.
In fact, I have mine set to give me a ding at an hour before and at 10 minutes before. So many things on my calendar are Zoom calls. So it'll ding me an hour before, and I say, oh, yeah. Gotta remember that. And then I'll...
Yeah, I put one, if I have to go somewhere, I try and make it give me a notification that at the time that I need to get out the door. And then I have another one 10 minutes before. So it's variable. You can set it up however you want.
And as many as you want. So I'm going to do this on the mobile. And I'm still going to use Alan's account. And I go into calendar. And I'm on Alan's account. But now this is a setting. So on the mobile, you get to settings with the 3-line, and then settings, and then for events. Events means the items that you schedule on the calendar. So I want settings for events. The default is that it will ding you at 30 minutes before. Alan says, I need one at 4 hours. I kind of plan my days a half day in advance. And notice 4 hours is not one of the options. Custom. Hours. And change it to 4. So now he will get a notification. And that's the little pop-up on your phone or the music that sounds. That's a notification, as long as you have notifications turned on. Now, what if he just doesn't like notifications and he turned all notifications off? Well, you do have the option to say, send me, all right, where is that? Oh, so as notification, no, there we go. I just needed to scroll down. As email. So if you don't like notifications, and you're checking your email all the time, you can tell it, send me the reminder as an email. Or you can even say, send me a day before reminder in an email, and then a 1 hour and a 10-minute with for a sound. Okay, so that's notifications. And you can do that on the computer as well. On the computer, you would find the calendar and click those three dots for the settings and notifications. Google Calendar and search. Once you start using your calendar all the time, then you can ask it questions. Here's a video on that, number 881. I think a lot of people use Google Calendar. I know I do. My life is on Google Calendar, and I can see his calendar and my calendar and our business calendar all in one place. My tip is that you can search. This is what it looks like. You can see it in month view or week view or day view, but I'm a big picture kind of person. I always like to see it in month view. I say my whole life is on Google Calendar, so if I have a question about when something was or is, I ask Google Calendar. So for example, a lot of you I think know that Jim got a new hip last year, and somebody asked me when. I say, I don't remember. It was sometime last year. But I can just go to Google Calendar, click the search in the upper right-hand corner, and type hip, and then press enter. And there we go. Jim hip surgery, June 5. If I click on the 5, then it takes me to the calendar, and I can see that I have my calendar, the Geeks on Tour calendar, and Jim's calendar for June 5, 2023. And it said it was on June 5th, and there we go, Jim. So another example, we went to a concert sometime in the past year of the Fab Four, the Beatles tribute band, and they were great. Let's say I was talking to someone and said, we went and saw that. When did you go? I don't know, but I can just ask Google Calendar, Fab Four, and press enter, and there we have it. It was on December 1, 2023. Another example, how about one for in the future? I need to, I'm thinking, I think I might have a little tooth problem here. When is my next dentist appointment, or do I have to make one now? I go to search and I type dentist and enter, and look at all that. It is showing me all the way back to August 2022 every time we've had a dentist appointment. But here is the next one, September 30. So using that information, I can decide whether or not I want to make an earlier appointment or not. And the last one is we have another big trip planned for sometime this year, and I say, when is that? I got to make sure that I'm not scheduling anything conflicts. We are going to the Panama Canal. So I can type Panama Canal, and it says, that starts on August 8 and goes through August 22. Once again, I can click on one of them, and then I can click on month to see the way I like to see it visually. And that is my quick tip about searching in Google Calendar.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know the difference between October and August, apparently. But,
we got on a later cruise.
Yeah, okay. But that is very useful. Now, what I've honestly used this for is I go to a doctor's appointment. Yes, seems like we're all about doctor's appointments at this age. And they said, when was your last mammogram? Yeah, like I know that off the top of my head. My Google Calendar knows it. I can search it and give them the exact date.
Debbie couldn't survive without Google Calendar. Doctor's office gives me an appointment card. Yeah, you lose that, or you stick it up on your refrigerator. Who knows what happens to those things?
Yeah, and they always seem impressed that I get out my phone, and I don't know why they're so impressed, but...
Well, most of the doctors we go to, the other patients are...
The other patients are old, yeah. Yeah, not us, okay. Subscribing to other calendars. And now this is really interesting. My example, and I'll show you, is the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so yes, we are from South Florida. Yes, we watch football, so we are Miami Dolphins. We want to know when they're playing. It's so easy. you on the computer, it's easy. You can do it on a phone too, but on a computer it's just so easy. Other calendars, and you click the plus. And you can subscribe to a calendar, then you need to know the link to that. So if you belong to a club and they have a particular calendar, they can make that public, or they can post the link to their calendar, and then you can subscribe to it. I'm going to, though, look for browse calendars of interest. And there's religious holidays, there's sports, football, National Football League. Look at all these. And there is Miami Dolphins. All I have to do is check the box. And now the Miami Dolphins, let's see what color it is. It's red. No. Miami Dolphins has to be either teal or orange.
Right. Absolutely.
Which should I make it?
Whatever you got. Teal's good.
Seems like there was something else. Okay, so where's that? That looks pretty good. Eucalyptus peacock. I think that one looks the most teal. So there we go. Today! They're playing right now. We gotta go.
Okay.
We'll rewind. We'll rewind and watch it.
Yeah, no spoilers here.
So, and we'll be able to see they play next on the 22nd, etc., etc. So you can pick, and then they're playing on Monday night on the 30th. So easy to see.
Debbie wants to know, is there a way to join Outlook Calendar to Google, or is it just better to switch?
Bridget.
Bridget, I'm sorry.
Good question, Bridget. If so, you're used to using Outlook Calendar, is that right? Or you put all your appointments in Outlook Calendar and you want to see them in Google, or you're putting your appointments in Google and you want to see them using Outlook because you're familiar with using Outlook. Either way, it can be done. It's quite a lot of... You got to follow the instructions very carefully, but just, you can Google it. You can follow Outlook's instructions or Google's instructions, depending on which way you want it to go. All right. I think this is the last tip. Calendar views. Calendar views. I like month view, even on the phone. So yeah, let me go to the phone. And this time I'm going to use my calendar, and I have my iPhone is set up to be looking at my calendar. So this is my iPhone. You'll see Google Calendar looks just the same, and you'd go from month to month to month if you're in month view. Month just makes the most sense to me. I understand what I'm looking at, but if you want to get closer, things are very tiny. True, they are very, very tiny in month view, but I can still see it and find what I'm looking for. To change views on the phone, you tap the 3-line menu, and then you can go to week. So now you see the days at the top, starting with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the hours going up and down. And you can see all your appointments for the week. Or you can choose 3-day, which makes them bigger yet. But if I want to look at just what is coming up next, I think schedule is the best way to do it. Schedule means don't show me a calendar at all. Just show me a list of what's coming up next. And you would have to notice then that there is nothing on Tuesday and Thursday. So that's great. On Monday, I have these things, and then the next thing that I need to prepare for is on Thursday. So that is the schedule view. And then back to the computer, there is that can be done in the computer calendar. And I will go to my calendar because there's more stuff there for you to see. And you can go to Year View on the computer. Now, you don't see any appointments in Year View, but this is the easiest way to change. I mean, if I am in my normal month view and I want to go look at next May, I'd have to go click, 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 click there to get to next May when we have a special trip planned. How do you get back quickly just to today? There's this little button called Today. On the phone, it has the day in it, so you would see a little 8. If I go to year and 2024, I can go to 2025 and May. Yeah, it still takes a little bit, but that's another way to get you to a different place in your calendar. Especially useful if you're going like 5 years away or something like that. The other thing that I think is cool is this little mini month calendar over here. You can, do that. You can go to, October 2025. Looks like we're busy. But if you go back to today and let's say you want to see 2 weeks or 3 weeks, watch this. You just drag in that little mini calendar 3 weeks, and that's exactly what you got. You got 3 weeks showing in the calendar. 1 week, just highlight the 1 week. Now you're seeing the 1 week in the calendar. Did I cover all? I think so. Well, day. Okay. Now, day, it says, there's too much room just to show you 1 day for one calendar. So it shows you 1 day for all the different calendars that I'm watching.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Not here anyway.
Then we're done.
Okay. I want to remind everyone of the Backstage Pass. That is for members only. It's a premium thing that we do after this show. It's a Zoom meeting. You can get the link from an email that Chris sent out earlier today, or you can go to geeksontour.com, navigate to member login, and click on the picture there. That'll get you in there. Paul can't find the settings on his iPhone calendar, Chris.
Okay. This is my iPhone here. It is currently in schedule view. I'm going to put it in month just because that's what makes sense to me. I like to see it in month. Settings. 3-line menu. And then it's way down at the bottom. So depending on how much else you have going on here, you might have to scroll a bit. And there's settings. Now you need to make sure you're setting the settings for the right calendar. So my calendar and events is mostly what you'd be changing settings for. So like the default notifications. All right, so did you get that? 3 lines, settings, then your calendar and events. And those are the settings you can change. Or other settings. Yeah, general. General settings, there's a bunch of stuff. Just peruse them.
Okay, next slide. geeksontour.com/news is where you'll find our free newsletter. Chris sends out a tip every week. We also put out some notifications, important stuff. We think it's important. I don't know. What do you think? Okay. Jerry says thanks. And Ed says there's an app for Google Calendar that allows Calendar to take up a whole page on your phone. Yeah, I'm not surprised. There's an app for everything to do that stuff.
But I don't quite understand. It's taken up my whole phone.
Yeah.
How can it take up more than the whole screen?
I don't know. Maybe he'll tell us in the Backstage Pass.
Okay.
A reminder, if you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and click the subscribe. That really helps us. Click on the bell to get notified when we go live or when we do stuff like that. And if you can't find it, it's youtube.com/@GeeksOnTour. Tell your friends. Any more questions? I don't think so. That should do it. That's us.
Okay.
Oh, this is something that Chris has.
Yes, a Zoom class over Zoom. It's for premium members only, so you have to subscribe. I call it Do More with Google Photos. So it's a 2-hour class over Zoom, and we will show you how to just get a little bit beyond the basics, just beyond the basics with Google Photos. You do need to pre-register. So if you can scan that code, or you go to geeksontour.com/classes and look for the October 2 class. You click there, log in with your member credentials, and you can register for that class.
Okay, is it possible to import an existing Outlook calendar into the Google Calendar?
I have not done it, but I'm sure there is, yes. You export to a iCal.
Something like that. It's a special format. I'm not sure.
You export from Outlook and import into Google.
I've done it. Not for my own stuff, but to help other people.
Long time ago,
yeah.
I have. I know it's possible.
I don't do that stuff anymore.
Like I say, you need to find the official instructions from both Outlook and Google Help, and you can do it, yes.
Ask an AI to help you. They're happy to help.
Oh, man.
And they're usually right with that sort of thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
But still check it out. Don't verify, please. Verify. All right. Let's see. Well, did you learn something? Well, the organizers of Zoom meeting are in Arizona and set it for 7 p.m. You're in New York. You should set it as A, 9 p.m., B, 7 p.m., C, 7 p.m., and specify Phoenix time zone.
C, 7 p.m. and specify Phoenix time zone. Because, yes, normally, or other things in that time zone are 2 hours difference, but right now, there's 3 hours difference. Google Calendar knows that. It's awfully tough for us to know that kind of thing.
Yeah. True or false? You must choose your notification settings for 1 hour before or 1 day before the event.
Nope. You can make whatever. You can make it 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. You can have a countdown. You can have 1 day, 2 day, and you can have multiple notifications. Yeah. You will not miss an event if you do that.
True or false? If you add an event to Google Calendar on your computer, it will immediately show up on your phone.
Pretty much. If you have a good internet connection.
You got to be connected, that's all. And it just happens automatically.
And vice versa.
Right. Oh, right.
You do it on the phone, it shows up on the computer.
Absolutely. You can share calendars with A, spouses only, B, anyone you invite, or C, Facebook friends.
B, anyone you invite.
That's handy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Backstage Pass, I think we've talked about that. It's the Zoom meeting right after this show, pretty close to 3 o'clock. We'll be there, and we'll chat with y'all. What's the webpage, Chris, that lists all of our YouTube shows?
The website is geeksontour.com, and the menu item is YouTube show. Now there's 2 under there. There's this What Does This Button Do, our 45-minute long live show, and there is Fun with Photos, which is our 10-minute. They're both YouTube shows.
Okay, what's the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters?
Geeksontour.com. The menu item is blogs and news. You'll find an archive of all our monthly newsletters, 15 years worth there.
Okay. And why do people pay $58 a year to join Geeks on Tour?
Well, we have lots of member benefits. You get to ask us any question, then either Jim or I will respond. The Backstage Pass Zoom, other Zoom classes like that Google Photos, written notes to these shows, and some people just sign up and pay us money to say thank you for all that we do for free. We thank you.
Okay.
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
So we want you to become a member. Do that at geeksontour.com/join now.
Our photo written notes to the shows,
Okay.
to our supporters.
That's fun. Sometimes they have a mind of their own. Well, that's it for this episode.
And we won't be here next week.
We'll do something the following week.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a
We'll
fun
be
with
we'll be
photos.
just getting back from Cuba, but we'll want to tell you about it.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Stay tuned. I'm Jim,
I'm Chris.
and we'll see you next time. We're Geeks on Tour. All right.